show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Aerosol! Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Shero Coffee Chat, where coffee meets conversation. Of course, I am your host, Melissa Farmer Hill, an Army combat veteran and the founder of the Shero Coffee Club, where our mission is to keep the world caffeinated and women veterans celebrated. Yes, thank you for joining us today. And as always, we'll take a spin around the Shero resource table. We've got your story, tip, and special guest of the week all coming up right after this. Oh my goodness. If you guys hear background noise, that's only because yes, we have moved and I don't have my studio fully ready yet. So if you hear noise, it's just work with me, right? Right? Okay. All right. At Shero Coffee Chat, we know that life is a journey and it definitely is not always easy. Take me this weekend moving and packing and making sure nothing gets broken with the movers. It was crazy. But it's really important that we, keep our heads on a swivel when it comes to helping our veterans, right? Right? Because we've got over 16 million. That's a lot of people. We've got over 16 million veterans out there, and no one, absolutely no one, has all the answers, especially during this time right now. But together we can absolutely do so much more. And that's why we created the Shero Resource Table to share helpful information, resources, and programs, for our veteran community. Because when one of us wins, we all win. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Don't you feel good about cheering your fellow sister vet or cheering someone who's winning? Don't you feel good about cheering them on? You know what? And if you don't feel that way, if you feel some type of way, that's because that should be inspiration for you to do what it is that you have to do, to do what it is you're supposed to be doing. All right. Okay. So if you are a veteran woman or who's ever felt unsure about going to the VA, because it can be scary, especially during your transition, all of these things, or you just don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. Did you know that there is an actual call center made just for women who served? I would see this sign all around and I would never pay any attention to it. I mean, when I say just for women veterans, I mean no runaround, no call transfers. This is real support. It's called the Women's Veterans Call Center. Have you ever heard of that? You guys, I go to Jesse Brown Hospital, Jesse Brown VA in Chicago, Illinois, and I see the Women Veterans Call Center. Never really paid it any attention. And something attracted to me, my last appointment, something attracted me to the sign. I'm like, well, if I see it and I don't know about it, and I never really paid attention to it, what about the viewers? Yes, it's called the Women Veterans Call Center. And it's not your typical VA line. I mean, they are there to be proactive and support your needs directly when you call. When you call, I think this is most important. A woman answers. A woman answers, and they're trained to help you with everything from benefits, healthcare, mental health, maternity service, infertility services, even just to figure out what you're eligible for, guys. I mean, and it's free, it's confidential, and you can call as many times as you need. Yes, the Women Veterans Call Center. So if you have questions and want to speak to another woman, here's another way that you can reach out. So many of us, as women veterans, we might be hesitant to go to the VA, although we're eligible for the benefits. And I'm telling you guys, I can't say this enough. Go get the services there. Go get the services there. But this service in particular was definitely created with us in mind. So if you have questions, like I said, or if you just want to speak with another woman, you can reach out, and we can put that number in the ticker here. That number is 1-855 VA Women, or because nobody uses letters anymore, but I thought it was kind of cute. 1-855-829-6636. That's 1-855-829-6636. Or you can go to va.gov, Women's Health, and remember, Women Veterans Call Center / or just in where they ask you where in the search engine, type in Women Veteran Call Center. And I did that yesterday. I went online, I kind of asked some questions, and that was yesterday. Anything, do you need anything else? I mean, I was online, and I thought that service and the information they provided me was great. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now that's Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in Central Standard Time like me, that's an hour ahead. And then Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6:30. And yes, even if you call after hours, they will definitely get back to you. And the other thing is that I want you to know, we talk about transitioning, and some women might be not wanting to go to the VA. They can start here with this call, but don't just save the number. Don't just save the number. Use it, but not only use it, share it with another sister vet. Can you do that? Because you never know who's one phone call away, from their breakthrough and getting the help that they need. Wouldn't that be great if you just gave this number and then they came back to you and said, man, thank you. Thank you for giving me that number. Yes. Because like I say, right? When one of us wins, we all win. So please just make sure you share this info. All right, we're going to move right into our story of the week, which it was from Washington Post. I came across an article this week about the Department of Veteran Affairs. Everybody's talking about that. Originally they were set to lay off like about 83,000 employees, and that move was definitely tied to the Trump administration and the federal cost cutting plan. The Elon Musk and his gang came in and curtail. I mean, just did a lot of things, changed a lot of lives. Uh, so at first, it was blocked. It was blocked by a federal judge. They said, you need to change this. We need more review. We need more answers. But on July 8th, which was just a few days ago, the Supreme Court gave the green light, which means that those cuts can now legally move forward. They can legally move forward with with the plans that the Trump administration had. But here's the pivot, and I'm glad that there's a pivot. uh Still not good, but it's a pivot. The VA said that they don't plan to do the mass layoffs so far. This is the most current information that I have. Instead, what they'll do is reduce staff by about 30,000 positions through what's called attrition. So what that means is when people retire or leave, they just don't refill the positions. So it's through attrition that they'll have these 30,000 cuts. And then from the Federal News Network, they're on track to get that done by the end of the fiscal year, which is what? September 30th, right? But let me be clear. I want to be clear on a few things. 30,000 fewer people serving veterans. That those aren't just numbers. It means people are leaving, and this is a good thing because it's attrition, like I said, so they're retiring out. But that's 30,000 positions that won't be filled, and that's 30,000 people who won't be taking care of veterans. Now, I know what I really want to kind of focus on. I know we hear the big cry that veterans are losing their jobs. We've seen it. They've really promoted that veterans are losing their jobs at the VA. But here's what I found out, and then they'll bring like a veteran on camera to talk about it. But here's what I found out. The US, this is the data from last September. The Office of Personnel Management showed that 120,904 of the 482,831 employees at the Department of Veteran Affairs are veterans, which translates to 1 in 4 working at the VA that are actually veterans. That is only, yes, I say only, 25%. And then if you look aggregately across the entire federal government, it's only 27% of veterans working for the federal government. So, yeah, you really got to go looking to find a veteran that's working in the system. And I'm back to the VA, working in the system that's supposed to serve us. But here's the thing. The VA wasn't just built to take care of veterans. And you have to think about that. It wasn't just built to take care of veterans. It was built to employ us too, right? That was always the heart behind it. Veterans helping veterans. Folks who get the language, who've lived the life, who understood what the weight of the uniform meant without us having to explain it. So when they start talking about, uh, job cuts at the VA, and I'm sure we're not going to end at 30,000. That's just I hope that's it through attrition. It might not end at that since they've been greenlit. Um, let's not start with the veterans, with the very few veterans we have. I mean, isn't there a hiring preference? I don't know. I know that there's a hiring preference, but I'm just wondering how the hiring process goes. Um, Within our federal government, and assuming, and I want to keep all the veterans, but I'm assuming that they're doing a great job. They're doing well in their role. So save those positions for the people that have already served and are ready to continue to serve. I'm always going to advocate for veterans. And I just want you to remember, VA, the heart behind VA was veterans helping veterans. And you know what? That matters. So you tell me, do you think more veterans should be working inside the system that's built to serve us? I mean the VA. I'm not talking about across the aggregate, federally, the VA in particular. I want you to drop your thoughts, drop your comments, send a message, or share this episode with someone who can come back. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, and I am giving you my thoughts, and those are my thoughts. Because, I mean, ultimately, we deserve more than gratitude, right? We deserve a system that works. And when you attrit 30,000, I don't know. I gotta hope and believe that they've got it all figured out. But I'm grateful that it was attrition and not firing. So these are people that are ready to leave, that are going to retire and leave. So that is good. All right. I'm getting off my soapbox now, right? But I'm serious. I love my veterans. I am a veteran, and I will always advocate for veterans. And I don't see anything wrong with raising that number of veterans you hire at the VA. All right. I'm going to woosah and go right into the tip of the week. I'm going to take a sip, right? Do you have your Shero coffee today? Yes. All right. The tip week. So right now we are living in a world that praises hustle, working harder, the power of 10x. 10x, I mean, not only just 10x, but 10xing everything in your life. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for it. I try to 10x everything in my life too. I'm here for all that. But I also believe in the power of a 10-minute reset, right? A 10-minute reset can give you some space to breathe. It can help you process things and give you clarity and kind of check in with yourself. It definitely helps you lower stress and refocus your energy. You can do all of those things. Think of it like your phone, right? Your phone, right? Plugging in your phone when the battery's low, right? You can charge it so you can keep going, and you can do a 10-minute reset at any time. When you feel your heart rate going up, like I probably need a 10-minute recess now coming off that VA thing, but I'm gonna keep going and then I'll do my 10-minute reset at the end. But you charge your phone in so you can keep going. The same goes for you, and you can do it at any time. So before this day is over, I want you to take a 10-minute reset. No distractions. No distractions. All right? Because the thing is, you can't pour from an empty cup. And there's so many of us out here giving all that we are and all that we have to a lot of people and leaving nothing for ourselves. So all I'm asking you to do is take 10. That's it. Take 10 to refill yourself. All right, we're going to move right on along. I hope you are enjoying the show so far. But we are going to move right along to our special guest. Today's guest, I tell you guys, it's a powerhouse of purpose and compassion. Donna Werner is the founder and executive director of Dorcas Destiny International, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to serving women and children in Kenya, Africa, or Kenya, East Africa. That's where it is. With a deep commitment to global impact, her organization uplifts communities through education, empowerment, and support services. Mrs. Warner brings an impressive background to the table, holding a bachelor's degree, and I'm getting reverb here. So, holding a bachelor's degree in urban studies and leadership. She has a certificate of man in management and a master's of art in applied behavioral science. Professionally, this lady has worn a lot of hats, y'all, working in executive management, the Washington State court system, social services, and the private sector, where she's collaborated with a range of individuals, from business owners to entrepreneurs to students. Yes, Mrs. Warner recently relocated from Chicagoland area to Freeport, Illinois, but she's still in the great state of Illinois, so I'm happy. So they're doing some great things out in Freeport. She is married to Lee Warner. Good morning, Mr. Warner, if you're watching, and is a member of Beloved Church. Shout out to Beloved Church in Lena, Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miss Donna Warner. Donna, we can't see you. There you go. Bring it on
Oh, there I
down. Bring
am.
it down. Bring it on down. There. Look at that beautiful smile. Hello there. How
Good
are you?
morning. I am doing well. Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers and listeners, for allowing me to be here this morning.
I am so as you probably heard earlier, I we moved this weekend. I wanted to wear those beautiful earrings. Oh my goodness, you guys, she gave me a beautiful pair of earrings today. A couple of weeks ago, at our engage event. I think it was our
Yep.
engagement. They were beautiful, and I wanted to wear them today, but I haven't unpacked all of my boxes. So I will have them. I will have them before this year ends, because it's going to take me a long time to unpack these boxes.
I totally understand. I totally understand. Moving is more than a notion. It's a process.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, thank you for coming on the show today, and I want to get right into because time goes so fast. So,
Mhm.
my first question is, what is Dorcas Destiny International?
Dorcas Destiny International is a mission. It's a ministry. It's an opportunity for relationship. We are a 501c3 founded by me. We're in our eighth year. So, what we do is we help very poor women and children in Kenya, East Africa, as you mentioned in the introduction. And we do that through relationship because we do travel to Kenya. I just got back from Kenya 2 days ago. And it's important to me that we not only send money, but I want to make sure that I know the people that we're serving. I want them to know me. I want to make sure that we're having the kind of impact that we intend to have. And I also want to make sure that we fill any gaps in service that we can. The women and children that we work with are all in slums, and, people think that we have slums here in the US. But if you've ever traveled internationally, which veterans have, so you've seen some of the things that we experience every day, but that the average American does not experience. So it's really an opportunity to make sure that we are doing what we can for real people who have real needs.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. So, when I was younger, much younger, in my mom's house where the rent was paid and all
Mm.
that. I'm
Mhm,
sorry,
right?
I digress. But 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 I remember you know some kids don't know Oprah. Are you familiar with Oprah Winfrey?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so when Oprah Winfrey, she opened a school decades ago
Mhm.
now, an
Yeah.
all girls school, and one of the metrics, I guess, that because she was thinking about opening one up in the United States, and then she told us why she chose to open up a school in Africa, and the reason was because when you asked kids in America what your needs are, they were like, well, we need, like a PlayStation. It was nothing that dealt
Mm.
with education. So when she went to Africa and she posed that same question to the children there, they were like, well, can we have books and chalkboards and
Mhm.
those things? So that was one of the reasons why she chose Africa. And I bring that up because of what you said, I thought was so powerful. Veterans travel. So a lot of us have seen what, and
Mm.
it's not that you're not struggling in America. It's not that, things are, you have your own level of poverty, but there's a first
Right.
world poverty and there's a third world poverty. And I
That's
think
it.
that is, that is the biggest difference. Can you tell us the reason why you chose, Kenya, East Africa? Was it similar to that? I'm just getting that vibe.
Well, it's crazy because, I say it was a God thing, and it totally was. I went to a conference in Toronto in May 2016, and I met a gentleman there who was from Kenya. And he, in our conversation, he said, well, I have a school in the village where I grew up in Kenya, and would you help me with the school? Because clearly, speaking of Oprah Winfrey, I'm sure he probably looked at me and thought, Oprah Winfrey, black female, okay, surely she has all the money in the world. Well, my father in heaven owns it all, but I don't have it all in my bank account. But
Mhm.
I did know when he asked me that question about helping him that it was an easy yes. 1 year later, June 2017, I took my first trip to Kenya because I wasn't going to do anything until I went and saw with my own eyes, experienced it myself. A friend of mine and and the friend that went with me, she's actually a veteran as well. She was Army.
Hua?
We,
Is that? Oh wow,
yeah.
that's what we say in the army. We say hua, but we say that for everything. It could be good, bad, and different. It doesn't matter. So if you get a hua, it's fine. It's fine.
So
Uh,
we stayed for 3 weeks. And we stayed a week and a half in Nairobi in one of the slums, and then a week and a half in the village where he grew up. And I experienced that for 3 weeks and thought, okay, nobody is supposed to live like this who's a human being. So I could not leave that place, come back to the US and not do something, because it was just so impactful for me that people had no power, they had no water, outdoor toilets. It was just something that I had never experienced as an American, even though I've traveled internationally, but I've traveled as a tourist. I
Mhm.
didn't have my life wasn't such that I lived like they lived every day. So I had to do something. And now we're in our 8th year and, going over, I just finished my 16th trip, taking 15 team with me and just continue to do the work.
Mhm.
And the one I do also want to make another point about what you just mentioned. One of the little girls that we just saw on our trip, her name is Beatrice, and I asked her while we were walking. I said, "If you could have anything that you wanted, what would you want?" She wanted a pink backpack and a pair of shoes.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we bought her a pink backpack and a pair of shoes.
That's beautiful. And I think another beautiful thing about it is, no matter how much, Americans, don't like this country, I think it some Americans, I'm not saying all Americans,
Mhm.
people that speak negative on America, it's such a blessing to be here and to be in the
Truly,
position you're in and to be able to help people all around the world, and then especially
yes.
in Kenya. So my next question is, I did have a question because you've been the organization has been going for 8 years now.
Hmm.
How did Congratulations on that, because
Thank
they
you.
say the first five is the hardest to get over, and you're over
Yep.
you're over that
Hump.
hump. So right. So things are smooth. Well, as smooth as it can be
Right.
running an
Exactly.
organization. But how did you deal? What happened during the pandemic? What did you have to pivot to? How did you stay in contact and connected to your the people in Kenya?
Well, thankfully, we were still able to travel. So there was one trip that I was not able to go on because they were asking for certain vaccinations that I was not in favor of. But I did have a team that went. But other than that, even now we communicate via WhatsApp. So I'm sure that many veterans are familiar with WhatsApp. So I am
Mhm.
in communication with them then and now through WhatsApp. And the only thing that we needed to do during that one time, minus the trip that I wasn't able to go on, we still traveled. So we had to have our negative PCR tests and those kind of things. And what we did was provided food support more so for the widows, the female widows over there at that point,
Mhm.
versus the children in school, because the children weren't in school because of things going on. So we didn't really have to pivot much at all. We just kept doing
Oh,
what we were doing. We just did it a little differently. Because I do have
oh,
people on the ground there that keep the organization moving and that actually accomplish the work.
can you believe it? Our time is it's just rolling down it. But I want to ask you one quick. If I can get into, I'll try to get into. But this one, I want to make sure the audience knows. What is your vision for the future of Dorcas Destiny International?
What we want Dorcas Destiny International to be is we want our own village. We want our own space where we have a compound that includes a school, a church, a homeless shelter, a food pantry, a learning center, places where the children that we run into who are orphans are able to come and live safely, get educated, get fed, be loved on. But those are things that we obviously need resources for. But that's my vision, is for us to be able to take in every child that we find, so that the areas that we work in, there are no more street children around.
That is wonderful. Can you say this in 10 seconds or less? How can veterans and those people who are watching today get involved to support your mission? And then we got to go.
Yeah, not a problem. So we are all over social media: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. Reach out, follow us. You'll see the kids. You'll be able to contact me. We do have our website. That's the best way, is to just reach out, send me an email, get on our newsletter, and we can communicate.
All right, you guys, this has been Donna Werner, Dorcas Destiny International. And as always, keep your heart strong and your coffee Shero. I see you next week.